Mic on. All right, fantastic. How long we got left? We got a few seconds. Yes, we do. Let's see if we can make that crazy good transition. One, two, three, four, five, six. Done. Look at that. Show 77. Hello, everyone. This is the Black Bear broadcast. I will be your host tonight, Rap Raven. So let's start helping black people. Let's do what we have to do. All right. So after much research, I've unfortunately concluded that currently black people are collectively inadequate. Very important quote there. Very important quote. We shall unravel why it's important to understand that to see if we can really unpack it. What is the value in that quote? All right. So obviously, when we're going to send out the links today later on the show, people are welcome to jump in to find solutions. When they do, let's see if we can uphold the 4D values. Now, what are they? Discipline, dedication, discernment, and dignity. If we have these 4Ds, it makes communicating with black people just that little bit more easier. Yes, it does. All right, cool. All right, and also if we can not use derogatory terms, please, it makes it easier as well. So, if we can use more descriptive terms, rather than derogatory terms, because it goes somewhere else and then emotions get involved. And we're trying to minimize black people using emotions when we're trying to find solutions. It's a strategy we're going to write out soon. The best way to do that, so let's see what we can do. So, what is Black Bearman? I hear you say, well, Black Bearman is black people helping black people on black issues for Bearman. That's right. So, Black Bearman is when black people help other black people on black issues. That's it. If people are not doing that, it doesn't really count. And this is the lifestyle we're trying to promote. You see, we're trying to promote this lifestyle. Why are we trying to promote this lifestyle? Because if we promote this lifestyle, black people will improve. That's just what it is. It's quite straightforward, really. No rocket science. Let's say hello to the people. Welcome all, welcome all, welcome. There you go. Voila. Welcome to Stanley. So now what we're going to do is, where are we? All right, so quick disclaimer, because we will be showing some videos today. So the copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowances made for fair use purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Non-profit, educational, personal use, tips about the favor use. Yeah, all that good stuff. So all that is we're going to play a lot of videos today. Bits, 1 minute here, 1 minute there, 1 minute everywhere. All that good stuff. But yeah, we're gonna actually do case studies and break things down tonight. So what is today's show? I hear no one say. Well, it is collectively. Do black people have friends? Okay, let me skip to the end of that. No, we don't. But we have to work that out. Okay, and what is the psychological benefits of accepting the quote? Collectively, black people have no friends. So what is there a value in thinking such ways? We have to work that out. Is there a value in black people thinking that collectively we have no friends? And also, just a segue into another topic, which will be it tied in. What are the benefits of selling blackness to black people? What does that mean? Well, if we get time, we'll go over it. If we don't, we won't. Maybe next week. But let's see what we can do. So, because we've got a jam-packed, fantastic show this week, how are we going to start? So, what's the best way? How can I introduce this? Let me think. I'll tell you what. So, first we're going to start is basically, as we all know, unfortunately in the Ukraine, there's a war going on. So we're going to watch Ukraine. So one thing we notice is usually black people seem to have been trained to be subservient, which is one thing. But also there seems to be a natural kindness, which we can unpack. Some people say it's very kind people. Some say maybe it's always want people to like us and this kind of stuff. Who knows? But throughout the world, there was this kindness, and obviously this war was going on, and there was a lot of black people jumping forward to offer the support because the humanity and all that good stuff. But as we know, as the plot thickens. Even in war where people are dying and shooting, you find that unfortunately black people are still being mistreated in that scenario. And this is the thing. Usually at all kind of metrics, you always find black people at the bottom. That's why black bear is very important, looking out for your own best interest, because generally no one likes black people. But we're going to work that out. When it comes to war, we might do a research on this or a show on this. But if you look at the first two wars, I think we said it before, but while England were fighting Germany, once the Americans came and they actually arrested the Germans and put them in the trains, the black people weren't allowed to ride with the Americans. I think in the First World War as well, the black people weren't allowed to ride with the Germans, sorry, the prisoners. I think in the First World War, they were even forbade them from shooting. So I think black army officers and soldiers weren't allowed to shoot at the white Nazis. This was in some plot. I have to get the data up, but I remember this in the course not too long ago. It was very interesting. What else was there? There's so many things. It's interesting because I guess we look at the historical nature of this, where despite what is going on in the world, people fighting, who they're fighting and wars and death, black people seem to always have a special a level of hatred in the hearts of many. So we have to understand why that is. I don't think you should try to sell Blackness to black people. Most of us, at least in the American South, have been reminded on occasion. Okay, we'll break down what that means. But thank you very much, Frank, for the input there. Now, what we're going to do is we're now going to look at some news reports from all over the world, 1 minute each, and then we're going to break things down. So let's press play to hear what you have to say. Go.
To expose the racist tendencies in the Western world. Thousands of students from Africa and Asia are left stranded at the Ukrainian border, but reports of alleged segregation and violence in the Polish-Ukraine border has caused tensions. Nigeria has now hit out the security officials for their treatment towards their citizens and students. The president of Nigeria, Muhammadu Buhari, evoked the UN convention. He said that the color of passport or their skin should not make any difference.
I think it does to them.
The Nigerian presidency laid out several instances of reported discrimination by both the Ukrainian as well as the Polish military soldiers.
Oh dear.
The government...
Remember that he said that the Polish and the Ukrainians are mistreating black people. Very important for that. Very important for some segue I'm going to do in a bit.
Cited media reports and videos circulating on social media.
Oh dear.
On est là exposé dehors avec le froid qu'il y a ici. On ne nous donne toujours pas où nous abriter au fait. On est exposé avec le froid.
The African Union also condemned the human rights violation. In a statement, the union emphasized...
I should have actually read what they said there, because they actually have to... Okay, let's see if I can see that. If you guys want to see it. We had to stay outside, exposed to the code that they have here. Nobody tells us where we can.
S'abriter, au fait. On est exposé avec le froid.
We're exposed to the code.
African
Left
Union...
the code, not nice, especially if you're from Africa and you're used to the heat.
Also condemned the human rights violation. In a statement, the union emphasized that Africans are being singled out and called for more empathy, saying that all people should have the same rights, notwithstanding the nationality or racial identity. Question
from Stanley. Honest question, Raven. Who is surprised? Why do black parents consider sending them there? Yep. This is the thing. I guess technically you could say that everywhere, to be honest, like any kind of European country, including where we're at the moment. So it is one of those ones. But I guess the idea is other people groups tend to do better in the sense of they cling together and pull their resources together. This is something we have to be aware of. A strategy that might be in our best interest. Let's see.
South Africa's foreign ministry spokesperson said that South African students are
mistake there. He needs to work on his news reporting.
Also subjected to the harsh treatment. The spokesperson said that South African envoys are ensuring assistance to stranded South Africans. Right. Ghana has also sent its embassy officials to the border points to assist.
So like Africa all over seems to be going with some hardship in Ukraine.
The evacuations.
Oh dear, what nice.
Some of my friends are still there and I'm very worried. I text them to know how they're doing, if they have food or water, because right now the stores are closed.
Yeah,
so
and the attacks are getting worse.
Very, very worse. And hopefully they get out of Ukraine safe and no harm comes upon them.
Holland's ambassador to Nigeria dismissed the claims of mistreatment. She said that invalid documents have been accepted and COVID restrictions have been lifted so that equal treatment is meted out to all people.
Maybe the Africans are lying. Who knows? So says the Ukrainian. All right. So now let's get to the next video. What's next? Want to reveal? Boom. Where are we? All right.
The Ukrainians were
same old.
Were let in, and the foreigners, they were segregated to one side, regardless of racism and something. It was like all the Indians, most of the people were Indians, Africans.
So they're saying that there was obviously European, Ukrainian, Indians, and Africans. Let's see if there's a dynamic between the three.
Some English people were there. I encountered 2 Scotsmen there. And then it was like foreigner and Ukrainians, they were treated differently.
All the time that Ukrainian can pass every checkpoint, every passage, every door easily, but we always wait like 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, and always there was some discrimination and racism. I think not all Ukrainians are racist or something, but at the border guys, border soldiers, border police, there was like super racist, I think, and all the black people, Arabic people especially, what I saw, they beat them, they told.
So notice this brother here might be a European, maybe, I don't know for sure. And he's saying that he's not Ukrainian, I believe, and all non-Ukrainians were being discriminated against. But as we know, as he's describing or actually happened to the black people, and they were beaten. So I suspect he doesn't look like he's been beaten. So maybe he has the color for protection. Who knows? Let's see.
They're gone to them at night. It was snowing. Like, just people wanted to walk. They stopped us like a 3 hour. They didn't let us walk. And people get.
African parents, especially Nigerians, don't believe white supremacy exists, and Nigerians tend to believe that any bad treatment is worth it as long as it gets you somewhere. Okay, any Nigerians any Nigerians who disagree with that? The statement there. Okay, cool. We can break that down. I don't know how true that is, but we'll see.
Aggressive.
All right, cool. All right, so now what I'm gonna play this one now, but I more want to go to where there was a lady speaking. So obviously you see them speaking here. People shouting and screaming. Never good, never good. It was a wonderful woman who was speaking. Where is she? I'm sure it was in here. Okay, yeah, somewhere here. Let's press play. All right.
There's been a lot of segregation and racism from the people who've managed to actually get to the passport control. It seems like there's a hierarchy of Ukrainians.
Hierarchy, good word to understand.
First.
Wonder where black people or Africans are nestled in that hierarchy. Well, we can do some bets if we want.
Indian second, Africans last.
Oh, yeah. So Indian second, and then obviously bronze goes to Africans. All right, never good, but see what happens.
So there has been a lot of segregation.
Segregation. There you go. So there we go. So even in wars and stuff, maybe the African students are lying, or maybe they're not. Well, So either way, whether they're lying or not lying, it's there's a certain blueprint and lifestyle that I recommend we all live by to minimize that kind of confusion. Now, what am I going to do? So obviously, what I'll show you there is that the overall theme is no matter what happens, you tend to find that black people end up at the bottom of any kind of matrix that goes on. And then obviously, how do we deal with it? And that's what we're going to unpack now. Now, which way should I segue? Now, what I want to show you is obviously a few years back when Black Lives Matter started, Black Lives Matter came out, and obviously there was all lives matter, and this lives matter, and that lives matter, and the blue lives matter. So we're going to look at a UK debate that happened a few years back. Just for a bit before I segue somewhere else. So where is that video? I'm assuming it's this one, or is it not? No, it might be this one. Debate.
You're telling
go.
The fact that you're saying that Black Lives Matter is kind of saying that black people on one side and white people are on one side, Native Americans are on one side.
Like getting the definition wrong.
So what we're doing is it seems to be black people talking about Black Lives Matter. Just the concept of black people not being killed by the law enforcement, whatever. And we just black people discussing it. But we're looking at black people have different views and see how does those views work in their best interest and how they get that.
Like we're not saying that only Black Lives Matter. We're saying that all lives do matter, but Black Lives
are more important.
Black Lives Matter is a response to the growing crisis of the amount of black Americans killed in the USA and in other countries. It's our response to that. So it's our response to the black people dying. And you said that why isn't there a Native American? There should be. White lives already does matter.
You just said we should be arguing for Native Americans.
Yeah, so
why can't we argue?
So this is a brother here, nice suited and booted. He's against Black Lives Matter, but not necessarily in the whole organization who funded it, just as a concept. The word, the quotes, that kind of stuff.
That human beings matter. Aren't Native Americans human
because
beings?
Because
then we will be opening it up to a wide range of races as well.
Also in America, if you're not white, they class you as black anyway. So it doesn't matter if you're saying Hispanic or Native American. If you're not white, you're black. That's how they see it. If I'm mixed race, if I was to go to America,
not too sure they see it that way. I don't think they see Native Indians as black. Maybe they do, but I'm not too sure.
As me mixed race doesn't mean being black. So that's just it.
Well, everyone has their own opinion.
White people lives still will matter, but your point about there shouldn't be a focus on white lives, because at the end of the day, it's white boys that get into high powers of government. It's white boys that get into become CEOs. It's not black boys.
I feel like what you need to think of, you don't need to think of it as saying only Black Lives Matter. You need to think oh, currently in the world we live in, white lives matter, but, you know, black lives, they're sacred as well. We need people to know that they matter. You're telling them that it matters. It doesn't, they're not treating it as if it matters right now.
So many points. I just want to say...
You can tell by the whimsical smile and the eyes, the glinting of the eyes, that this brother is not really synchronized with any kind of black betterment kind of regime. But not to matter, you know, young man, this was a few years back, maybe he's changed. Maybe he's wearing an African dashiki or something now, who knows, it seems.
Respect all views, remember?
Can't even think right now. Obviously, there's a lot of countries with, like, you know, white governments and stuff.
So yeah, this is what I wanted to say. So he's talking about countries with white governments, right? This was maybe in 2015 he was talking about this. So let's have a listen to see what he's saying. Let's see if the brother knows what he's talking about. Let's go.
And all those governments treat their people equally.
All the governments treat their people equally, right?
You can see examples of this in like Eastern Europe, like countries like Poland, Hungary, like ex-communist countries. Yeah.
So he said Poland. I did hear him say Poland.
And a lot of their people, yeah, are treated unfairly. Like,
so he's saying that the people in Poland are treated unfairly. Maybe that is true.
For example, Poland, which is part of the European Union, what it does, yeah, is to stay friends with like countries like Germany and Britain, rich countries. It gives more basically rights to people from rich countries in Europe. So let's say you were an immigrant and you moved over to Poland, you would have stuff like, you know, a better education, free transport, stuff like that to try and encourage people to come.
Transport, interesting. There were people trying to use transport at the war, but let's see.
To Poland, and they don't give their Polish citizens the same kind of treatment. So
his brother's here saying that around that part of the world, that, you know, foreigners might get treated better. Okay, that might be true.
That's one example. They still, if you were black and you went to Poland but you were from Britain, you would be treated better.
So, question: do you reckon if this brother was there now in Ukraine trying to hit the Polish border, looking how he looks, like he literally is from Congo or somewhere, do you reckon they would go, "Oh no, he's from England," or do you reckon they might, you know, he has to wait as well? Who knows? Who knows? He seems to think not so, but that was a few years back. Maybe his views have changed.
Somebody white that was from Poland. So that's just one example of a way that, you know, white people are, you know, kind of pushed down. So I'm just saying
the way white people are pushed down.
It's not about it's not about race. Yeah.
One of those black guys who says it's not about race. He knows he should know.
Humans can be, you know.
Humans, interesting word.
Racist to another human.
Humans being racist to other humans. Never good.
It's not about that. It's about
what is it about?
Who we are.
Who we are. Who we are.
For all lives matter.
All lives matter. Black brother there, yeah, proper, you know, super black brother, excellent. You know, he knows he's talking about. Love him. All lives matter. He should know.
All lives matter. We know all lives matter, but the question now is, do Black lives matter? Because
I don't think they do. But either way, so we're going to segue from that. Now, what is the reason I showed that is because randomly looking on YouTube, and you know, just because naturally, Black Lives Matter came out, and obviously all lives matter, blue lives matter, green lives matter, everyone's mattering. And obviously people go, it's just a natural thing because it's the way it's said. And then we say, okay, you know, I noticed that when Stop Asian Hate came out, there was not Stop All Hate. So once again, black people, a special dedicated hate and rule set pushed towards black people. But I was looking for just randomly, you know, any kind of Stop All Hate, Stop Asian Hate videos randomly. And I came across some guy, he might be famous, I don't know, I'm not really trending like that. But there's some brother who does poetry, not my cup of tea, his type of poetry, at all anyway. It looks like it's something that they would use in a kind of like scientific, religious kind of setting, branding. The way he started, maybe he gets the same kind of, I don't know, direction from certain religions or what. I don't know what it is, but he's got some poetry kind of show, channel. And he made a video about Stop Asian Hate. Now, there is a black brother from the States, poet, so he claims. And yeah, just going to unpack some of the videos I learned, or I came across on his page, see if we can do a case study of this brother and see if he shows the same tendencies of many black brothers out there in the world. Many, many, many. Let's press play and see what they say. All right.
That here, so they are fired.
All right.
Why don't you crawl back to wherever you came from?
I'm an American, just like you.
Oh my God. Have you looked in a mirror? You are definitely not like me.
For those who don't see, it's basically two European gentlemen mistreating an Asian potential worker, I believe, looking very evil. hired some actors to do the scene. So good production value, trying to really get that kind of Asian hate there. Let's spend money. This is a brother's page where he does all, I believe, the production himself, or at least hires people. Quite a long following, quite a big following. But let's just play it.
Go home.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody wants you people here.
No, they're never nice to say that. So just for those who can't see, maybe you're washing dishes. There's a piece of paper and they've written "Stop eating dogs," mistreating this woman on some kind of work she had. It's never nice for to see that. Right. She's crying because she's not going to see. Time is ticking.
You are definitely not like me.
Never nice to say that.
She's brought her mom in for protection.
Anymore. Not going to mistreat the woman's mother. Oh, dear.
And we'll have to call CDC.
Asian virus.
Let me just go. Was that a black person they got to do that bit? Let me just do a sneak peek. Hold on. Oh yeah, black man shoulder rugby barged the Asian woman, called her Asian virus. Shame on him. Twice.
Virus.
Get out of the country. That's what she's saying. But she's not best pleased. She's crying on the floor. She's Asian. Stop mistreating the Asians. Never good.
Everyone, please sit.
All right, now this is the CEO of her job, it looks like.
Close your eyes.
Yes, go ahead. Everyone, I hope.
So one cold night, a woman takes her newborn baby,
right,
wrapped in a blanket,
oh dear,
places him under a tree, and leaves him there. Maybe it was fate or blind luck that a young couple, on their way home from dinner, heard his cries and rushed over.
Okay. So there's a European baby placed under a tree, and miraculously, 2 Asian people pass it. Okay.
Took him in their arms, and after some deliberation, they brought him home.
So they found a baby under a tree and took him home.
They cared for him, and they loved him like he was their own. When he was old enough and
I don't know if that's legal, but maybe.
the time was right, they told him everything. He grew up, determined to make something of himself.
Such a miraculous story.
And he did. From nothing, he built everything.
All right, cool. Yeah.
If that doesn't motivate you, nothing will.
Right. So for those who know, we're watching a Stop Asian Hate full production made by a black brother in America, and he's doing some theatrics, putting some money together to stop people from mistreating Asian people, because that's not nice.
I was the boy.
Oh, plot twist. So the European child was adopted by Chinese people who found on a tree, and he grew up to be an amazing CEO. There you go. I wonder what's going to happen next. Twist and turn.
Left under that tree. And this incredible woman raised me.
There you go. Never saw that coming.
Her daughter, Kim, has taken on an internship here. And I know that all of you will welcome them into this family in the same way that they welcomed me into theirs. You're good. Except you two.
Yeah. Comeuppance.
When I was telling that story, did it matter if the child was male or female?
Probably.
Where they grew up?
Probably.
Their race?
Probably.
There is no place for hate and discrimination in this company.
Oh dear. Well, that's what's going on, isn't it?
Don't bother coming in tomorrow. You're both fired.
Oh my day. That's white on white crime there.
When will we?
All right, so now the brother who makes the actual shows, very poetical, very lovely kind of chap, whatever. He's now introduced himself. I don't know if he wrote the script or did the direction, but he's now going to come do his little poem number, and it's Stop Asian Hate. So music comes in, that very minor chord, sad kind of almost stop music, but it works for these kind of things. Let's go. Let's see what we have to say.
Wake up.
I long for the day when mankind finally transforms into kind man.
Oh, that's the one. The poet.
When we open not just our eyes, but our hearts to see.
And look at him, this brother, he really is. He wants you to know you don't want to mistreat Asian people, and you don't, because it's not nice.
Beyond the hue of man, and realize we are all human.
Human! Didn't see that coming. Yep,
peace.
Yeah, peace. Thank you, brother. Peace. Excellent. And look, stop Asian hate as a hashtag. Voila, brother wanted to make you know, stop Asian hate. Now, this I didn't do any kind of research or case study. I literally just came across this because I was looking for Asian hate. I thought, oh, the brother went out, did a full production, actors, everything, music, time, the color grade, editing, everything, because he wants you to stop Asian hate. And I noticed that I couldn't find any in his thousands of videos. I couldn't find anything that had the tag or the name Black Lives Matter or Black anything to us. But I did come across. Where did I come across? I came across this. So let me see how many if I can find. So this was a trailer I came across. So this was one trailer for something that was coming up. Rewind.
Who would you be if the world never gave you a label?
Tell me. Special effects.
We would be one.
All right, so I noticed he had a label. He said, what did he say? Let me read that correctly. So for those who can't see, there's a black brother there. He's got Black Lives Matter on his T-shirt. Then a European individual, got All Lives Matter, because he probably couldn't find a Black Lives Matter T-shirt. And then the thing says, I'm not a label. So, labels. So I see one of those things coming up. Now, what is it, the one I saw? Did I even put it all in here? Just make sure I did. Asian hate, that one hate. Let me give me 14 seconds, guys. This one, don't want to miss one. 17. Is this one?
Who would you be if?
Not that one. Not that one. Okay, well, all right, guys, I'm back. Sorry about that. So what we're gonna do now, so basically he made a video, I think a whole long video about not wanting to be labeled black. I sure I download it, but let's look at his response first, and then we can look at the thing. So hold on. Maybe it was this one. Hold on. Press play. Add.
Hey, yo, what are you? You Black Lives Matter, White Lives Matter, Blue Lives Matter, Democrat, Republican, liberal, conservative, libertarian, conservative, moderate, red state, blue state, green party? Which one? Pick one. Make a decision. Pick one. White nationalist, black separatist, neo-Nazi? What team do you root for? Left wing, right wing? What jersey do you wear? SJW, LGBT, alt-left, alt-right, socialist, communist, feminist? Or human?
Okay.
See, we have become method actors. You know what a method actor is, right? A method actor is an actor who is playing his or her roles so well that now they can't even tell the difference between the role they play and their true selves.
Right.
Okay. We have an obsession with what is classifiable. We argue over what is untrue because what is true is undeniable.
Right.
And the truth is we are human first. So stop. Because we will never have peace if we continue to act like something we are not. So what are you?
Oh, there you go. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Good for him. So basically, what the moral of the story is? There's this brother here, big budget theatrics and stuff to do the whole stop Asian hate, hashtags everywhere, that kind of stuff, and all that. But doesn't want to identify as black, doesn't want to mention Black Lives Matter. Not that we're saying you should support Black Lives Matter, but when it comes to black people coming together, there's a stop. It's like, no, we're human, all one. You get the whole pictures on the TV of white person, green person, yellow person, purple, all the people, all the people out there, whatever you want to do, right? All coming together, kumbaya, that kind of stuff. And that's what I'm saying. But with the Asian one, not so much. With the Asian one, it's very particular. Stop beating up Asian people. It's not nice. And, stories and the white man raised them and all that good stuff and 5 people. So what I'm saying, this is a black brother and he's got other stuff in there, similar thing. I swear I downloaded some long one of him, where it is. But his name is Prince EA. Don't know him. First time I came across today. His poetry, my kind of thing. Very I don't know, but yeah, not my kind of cup of tea really. But I'm sure some you guys probably like it. Who knows? But yeah, so that was the case study there. I just randomly came across a black man who, okay, a human. Sorry, he's not a black man, he's human. And he understands who Asian people are and you should stop hating them. But black people, no, all human. Don't say Black Lives Matter, that kind of stuff. And this is where it's coming down to. This really is the we're trying to give some psychological benefits to black people and how they think. And I think if collectively we know that black people has no friends, then maybe we can minimize that kind of behavior because I haven't seen it work in our favor. Hence why we started with the whole Ukrainian, last on the list. And it does seem that when many black men get the chance to, the mic and to say stuff, the stuff they say doesn't really benefit anyone. Well, benefits everyone apart from black people. But that's just me going in there. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to keep playing this UK thing. Listen to it. And while it's playing, I'm going to get ready to throw out the link. So let me get the link out.
For example, a young boy in America
Where is that
can be
link?
pulled out of his car for no apparent reason and
Find the
then
link.
shot in the back. Then I think a question of do Black Lives Matter.
So I'm going to throw a link out there while you listen.
If somebody went, oh, you know what? Like, we're sending soldiers out to wars which kill them and everything. You know what? Soldiers' lives matter. Nobody would go up to that person and say, oh no, soldiers' lives matter, but all lives matter. Like, that's not the point, okay?
The whole Black Lives Matter campaign only really started when you saw police actually taking black lives. And it's kind of funny.
Now there's a black man here. Maybe he identifies as human. I don't know.
Because black lives have been going down from time. Back in the days when there was a crack epidemic and then, black people killing each other and then no one cares. But now you want to care when it's only police doing it. Like, it's a funny paradox that I think people need.
That's another thing we need to really break down when people say, yeah, you're right. Whenever black people kill each other, part of black men to stop that. But remember the whole Black Lives Matter thing, the thingamajigs, whatever, was saying that the legal state were killing black people and again paid to save people, not kill them. So that was the problem. Criminals will kill criminals, and that's what happens when you become a killer. But obviously, the police are not meant to be criminals. You can break that down. But anyway, that's what the brother said. But anyway, the link is now in the group family. If you want to jump in, the question of today's show is, collectively, do black people have friends? We can talk about that. Some might say yay, some might say nay. And then also, if we do accept that black people don't have friends collectively, what are the psychological benefits of accepting that quote? What is there a benefit? I don't know. Maybe I do know. Or maybe I want you to let me know you do know, or who knows. And then maybe later on we will go, what are the benefits of sending blackness to black people? That's always a good way to segue. But the things there, I'm going to keep pressing play until people jump in and have their say. So go on.
To get around.
Toby spoke about before how, we're all people, race doesn't matter. And I want to pose the question, can reverse racism exist? Can people of colour be racist towards European people?
Right, and that question, when you go out there and people start talking about that, it kind of is a waste of time when, this kind of like, this everyone. So it's like, you try to talk about your pain and the dedication of mistreating black people. And as we see, no matter where you go, black people will remain at the very bottom everywhere they go, all that kind of stuff. We'll witness it there. But then when you go into these kind of discussions, and that's now the conversation where black people or non-black people want to bring up, can black people be racist? What is the value of that? Well, once again, it's that kind of reversism. It's that kind of all in the same boat. Everyone's pain's the same pain. And it kind of negates, what actually going for black people. Not that people like me actually care, because we're talking about black bearmen and we understand that this is how the world is. But, it's just trying to break that kumbaya spirit where black people want to, include everyone and everything and waste time.
Yeah, what was the question again?
So, like, in the sense that the white people have the institutions behind them and the structures behind them and the racial structures. So I think in principle you probably can be racist. In principle, you can probably, by definition, you can be racist to a white person. But I think if you look at it from a practical sense, you can't, because there's just so many complex issues following it, and whether it means as much as it does. Because if I insult a white person, it's not gonna affect them. Yeah, they're gonna be hurt for an hour. Do you know what I'm saying?
Money.
Racism isn't about the impact, it's about the intention that you have before you say or how you act. I feel like black people will be racist to black people. I feel like white people can be racist to their own. You don't have to be a different race to not be racist. You can be racist to your own people. It's all about...
No, can't be racist to your own people. It doesn't work that way.
The intention behind it. And I feel like from a contextual side, then yeah, it doesn't seem like black people can be racist because, you know, they're oppressed already, so let's get at the big guy. But if you just take young people that have no idea about what's going on in history and they're saying discriminating things based on the other person's race, then that's racist.
Touchy.
Okay, let's split it up here. So there's institutionalized racism, yeah, that's systematic, and there's personal prejudice. So if I say to you, you look like mayonnaise, yeah, that is not, no, it's not funny, guys, for some people that's not nice. You shouldn't tell people they look like mayonnaise. Do you get what I mean? You shouldn't
Throwing jabs there.
You shouldn't like people to food. You don't do that, yeah? That's not a nice thing to say to someone. Okay, alright. Sorry that if you feel upset, you feel like mayonnaise for a day. That's upsetting. No, I'm not even trying to make a joke. That is upsetting. I want someone like me to food that I don't necessarily like. I mean, mayonnaise is kind of nice, but like, do you get what I mean? But then that's different to me saying than someone being like, okay, well, I've reached the quota for black women this year. This girl can't go to university. Then me saying to you something really mean. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Like,
so what's just I think breaking down there is the institutions behind, power behind decisions. I guess in Ukraine you could say power. There's a war going on, and the black people have to wait. So the bombs are flying everywhere, but they can't get into the country until they wait, and then they're getting beat up. So that could be some kind of institution, kind of power dynamic, you know. And then obviously, you know, the countries that they come from seem to be powerless, or even not bothered.
I'm not saying that how you feel is less than how I might feel, but I'm saying it has a much bigger impact. If I say, oh my gosh, this white girl's always so late to school, she might be like, I'm not always late, that's not nice. It's because of that stereotype on black people, someone might be like, I might not employ this girl because her time management is going to be poor. That's kind of, do you get what I mean? There's personal prejudice and that's systematic. It's both hurtful, but obviously one has a much bigger impact on the outcome. The outcome is very different. You might feel upset, and that's not nice. You shouldn't say things to people based on their race in the first place. But if you want to talk about the outcome and the result of things, that is where I think it's worth a discussion, talking about the extent to which reverse racism is real, and also the prefix itself. To call something reverse racism infers that. Why is it not just racism?
Let me see if I can find that.
This is the question. I'm not saying that.
Remember, guys, link to if you want to jump in and discuss topic, feel free.
Difference between
I found. Hold on.
Systematic.
Stop playing. Sorry, Sis, I'm talking over you. So I found that video, but I'm gonna see if I can download it. Kind of off the stream the other way. So let's see if it might take 7 years. It looks quite big, so I might.
I think it's something that needs to be spoken about.
Yeah, I'd agree that racism is something in terms of power, but then even having said that, there is many situations where black people have been in power. So there are black world leaders in African countries, and specifically example I can remember is Idi Amin and how he was in power. He had power. He ran the country.
All right, see if I can download.
With his power, he decided to discriminate.
You guys agree with what they're saying?
And to kick out and to basically terrorize the Indians who were in the country at the time. So all of them got kicked out. They lost their businesses. He didn't care where they went. Hold
on. What did that brother say? Let me go back there, because was he talking about Uganda or Kenya?
African countries. And a specific example I can remember is Idi Amin and how he was in power. He had power. He ran the country. But with his power, he decided to discriminate and to kick out and to basically terrorize the Indians who were in the country at the time. So all of them got kicked out.
Let's break that down. Hold on, brothers. Because first talking about India, I mean the brother leader of Uganda back in is it the 50s? I would say 50s, 60s. I think. I have to look at that again. So yes, this is true. But the thing is, you always have to have context, and the context is England brought in many Indians from India, and as in with Guyana, India, Uganda, I think Kenya, and some other places, Indians come in, and what they would do is they would be like the, I guess, the economic class, and they would have all the economic business and this kind of stuff. So there was a division between them and the blacks, and they didn't tend to integrate at all. I think what happened was, Amin went to the Queen and said, you've put all these people here, so you have to help look after them now that I'm in charge, and that you have to, contribute and help us out. And she said no, and then I think the reaction to that was kicking him out. Now I don't agree with all that kind of stuff, but that's what happened. A bit of context goes a very long way.
The businesses, he didn't care where they went. I would, maybe it doesn't.
But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe other people have a different opinion.
Have as deep of a meaning because the history.
All right, I think it's downloaded.
Indians do have
Show info.
History
All right.
of racism towards them as well, but you can see that even racism as a power movement, black people can be in power.
Let me see if I can open this while this is playing.
As their advantage.
Where is it? Share.
To
share.
demean another race.
Video.
So, well, it's a possibility anyway.
Listening to everyone talking against the fact that, or people who believe that black people can't be racist, tend to have this opinion that institutionalized racism is different to general racism, and I totally disagree. The fact that institution is being racist to humans does, and
is that what again? Humans?
The fact that it's not as powerful, it doesn't have power behind it, doesn't mean it's not racism. So to answer the question, in fact, it's simple yes. Black people can be racist to white people. It doesn't matter whether they have power or not. The fact that you have the intention, like she said, and the fact that you do it.
So I think when we were, he sent a letter to the Queen. That is right. Black people can be racist. I think I think sometimes this is a waste of a conversation, like this feelings thing, like can black people racist to white people? I don't think it matters. I think what I tend to do is I go, okay, yeah, now what? I would say like, okay, well, I will exchange the black racism to Europeans any day than vice versa. All right. So if you want to exchange the history of racism, by all means. All right. This is what I'm saying. This is this kind of a nullifying of experience and kumbaya of every kind of conversation. I don't think it works in black people's best interest. But what I'm going to do now, just show another brother who's not synchronized. Where's open video file? Where are you? Hold on. Voila, I think I found it. So I'm not going to list all of it, but this is that same poet guy. This was the video he made about I'm not a color, something like that.
I
definitely not my kind of poetry, but we have to endure it.
Am not black.
Okay, now we know.
I mean, that's what the world calls me, but it's not me.
And some people go, yes, we're African, yes, we're Moors, yes, but no, he ain't going there. He ain't going there at all.
I didn't come out of my mother's womb saying, hey, everybody, I'm black.
Comedy.
No, I was taught to be black. And you were taught to call me that.
That's right.
Along with whatever you call yourself.
So those who can't see, they've basically got human beings of all different creeds and colors and all that good stuff, miming him. I'm sometimes getting it wrong, but it is hard sometimes to mime at these kind of tempos, so please be merciful.
Self is just a label. See, from birth, the world force feeds us these labels. And eventually we all swallow them. We digest and
it's just a personal thing. I never really give my personal opinions about stuff generally, but not my cup of tea, this kind of kumbaya, minor chord, droned sounding kind of we are the world-ish thing. But it's just me, maybe you guys love it.
Accept the labels, never ever doubting them.
I don't want people to call it corny.
But there's one problem.
What is that problem, please?
Labels are not you and labels are not me.
That's right. Or is it not? Does that way of thinking benefit black people? Let's go.
Labels are just labels. But who we truly are is not skin deep.
Now, we hear that whole production about stop Asian hate. So, the word Asian was there. Maybe you should say stop hate. Who knows?
See, when I drive my car, no one would ever confuse the car for me. Well, when I drive my...
This really is cringeworthy, but I shouldn't say that because that's not correct or nice.
Body? Why do you confuse me for my body? It's my body. Get it? Not me. Let me break it down. See, our bodies are just cars that we operate and drive around. Right. The dealership we call society decided to...
So we're analyzing there, brothers and sisters. We're looking at just the nature of black people when it comes to, or African people, or whatever you want to label it, humans, or whatever, and just how the quick way no responsibility is taken for collective betterment. Whenever a chance comes to actually unite on something to find a purpose, then it's the human. We're all the same. Kumbaya, marry everyone, that kind of stuff. And this is the example we're using here is his brother. He did a whole TV show, film breakdown of Stop Asian Hate, but when it comes to any kind of black unity or black stop mistreating black people, particularly, it's we're all together, we love each other, that kind of stuff. Deal with the psychology of black people, or the humans, I should say, sorry, or the human.
Label mine the black edition, yours the Irish or white edition. And with no money down, 0% APR, and no test drive, we were forced to own these cars for the rest of our lives.
So how does this way of thinking benefit black people? Just something to think about. There's your homework. This kind of kumbaya, don't think of anything, don't identify, we're all human. How does that benefit black people? Especially when you have dedicated campaigns that identify other collective groups and how to protect them or how to boost them. How does this way think? Here's your homework.
Forgive me, but I fail to see the logic or pride in defining myself or judging another by the cars we drive. Because who we truly are.
Pictures of black baby and white baby, famous little cinematography there.
It's found inside.
Right.
Listen, I'm not here to tell you how science has concluded that genetically we're all mixed and race in the human species doesn't exist, or how every
all that stuff, regardless of how true or how false it is, that doesn't benefit the people identified as black. As we discovered in Ukraine, we can put that video on again, see them getting beat down. They could have did that poetry, maybe at the borders. The African students could have done this little poetry thing there that might have got them through. Maybe. And maybe more kicks to the head. Who knows?
Historian knows that race was invented in the 15th century.
How does that help black people?
To divide people from each other, and it has worked perfectly. No, I'm not here to lecture.
Too late.
I just want to ask one question. Who would you be if the world never gave you a label? Never gave you a box to check?
So this kind of philosophy works better for non-black people in the sense of when you're at the bottom of all kind of matrix, you wanna know what you're identified as and work ways around it. By not knowing what you're identified and not uniting and not coming together on these kind of solutions, you will remain there. These are the facts of life, and this may be why black people are always at the bottom, because whenever you try to get some, and this might be obviously controlled opposition, whenever you try to get any kind of like rally going, you get someone with these kind of like behavioral patterns, but they don't demonstrate this in other community groups. And when we talk about, or these pro-writers, they talk about helping other groups, he then clearly used labels. Stop Asian hate. Didn't say stop all hate. You see? Black people are collectively inadequate, and this is what we have to try to resolve.
Would you be white, black, Mexican, Asian, Native American, Middle Eastern, Indian? No. We would be one. We would be together. No longer living in the era of calling human beings black people or white people.
So you tend to find this kind of stuff is feel good content for non-black people, preferably Europeans, white people, this kind of stuff. Maybe it'll be better if they made it, but when maybe this is his hustle, but for have a black or a human, make it. Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, just me again, just thinking outside the box.
Labels that will forever blind us from seeing a person for who they are, but in
also, a lot of these brothers, I've noticed that they identify spiritual brothers. They always talk about spiritual when I'm spiritualist and I'm human. I've noticed that, and they all tend to have European wives with blonde eyes and blonde hair and blue eyes, whatever. But I mean, it's never here nor there. But it's just interesting.
Instead, seeing them through the judgmental,
I don't know who this brother's dating. It could be a sister.
Judicial, artificial filters of
suspect not though.
Who we think they are. And when you let an artificial label define yourself, then my friend, you have chosen smallness over great.
So what we're going to do as well, this is a black man marketing, and we're going to segue like the way I segue. This is marketing kumbayasm to, I guess, black people of the world. I don't know.
And minimized yourself, confined and divided yourself from others. And it is an undeniable fact that where there is division, there will be conflict, and conflict starts wars. Therefore, every war has started over labels. It's always us versus them. So the answer to war, racism, sexism, and every other ism is so simple that every politician has missed it. It's the labels. We must rip them off. Isn't it funny how no baby is born racist, yet every baby cries when they hear the cries of another, no matter the gender, culture, or
gosh, oh my goodness,
color, proving that deep down we were meant to connect. And
This is very hard to watch. Oh look, all right, someone mimics it. You're right. There you go. Where did these guys come from? Maybe obviously maybe they grew up in a different city or something. But it's like, did they review this afterwards? Shame on me. Maybe I'm being too harsh. Shame on me twice.
Care for each other. That is.
This kumbayarism is amazingly interesting. I mean, goodness me.
It's our mission, and that is not my opinion. That is the truth. In a world that has sold us fiction, please listen. Labels only distort our vision, which is why half of those watching this will dismiss it or feel
It's a lot. It really is a lot. And obviously they're trying to do the climax of the music. But my goodness, and look at this brother's face. Oh my goodness.
Distance and conflicted, but just remember, so did the caterpillar before it broke through its shell and became the magnificent butterfly.
Okay.
Well, these labels are our shells, and we must do the same thing so we can finally.
Okay, these must be good friends. These two black and white friends headbutting each other.
Spread our wings. Human beings were not meant to be slapped with labels like groceries and supermarkets. DNA cannot be regulated by.
We've just got like 500,000 views, I think.
The FDA.
Or maybe even 6 million. I can't remember. Maybe I'm getting enough. I think a few million.
We were meant to be free, and only until we remove them all and stop living and thinking so small will.
17 million. Yeah, 17 million. 17 million people watch this. And just so you know, there's the brothers there in the middle of all the people of all the creeds and nations of the world. And he's got a t-shirt saying, "I am not a label." There you go. He's not a label.
We be free to see ourselves.
They'll walk together in unison.
And each other.
Yeah, hold
for
hands.
who
Go on, do the
truly
yep.
are.
Top of the mountain, holding hands. Yep. Kids in there, love. Oh, yeah, of course. Very good. I mean, I'm not. Oh, has he got like an afterwards? No, subscribe. So hopefully the brother's eating. He's making money. If it sells and people like that kind of stuff. Good. But once again, we're using him as a case study. Because how a man makes his money is his own affair. But yeah, it's this kind of this kind of dedication to no accountability. When it comes to mobilizing and unifying and coming together, and then you do things that actually break that. So if you don't recognize your people group, whether you want to call them African, black or more, what do you want to do, and you call it kumbayasm, then you're going to go back to what the status quo was, and that is literally black people in a subservient state. Unfortunately, that's what it is. So we're going to segue now into what was the last thing, and that is what are the benefits of selling blackness to black people? So that brother wasn't selling anything blackness. I think one thing that might be working black people's collective best interest is how do you sell things that benefit you to yourself? That doesn't benefit black people. That for me was one thing you realize when you start dealing with Europeans and stuff is, and this is what I think I said a quote before that we have to remember. The solutions, the aftermath of racism is Europeans' issue, not ours. And we shouldn't have the same solutions to it. So meaning the solution, the easiest solution that the European did after the mistreatment happened was to just say, don't judge people by race, don't judge people by color, everyone's equal, that kind of stuff, right? That is not the solution from black people. Black people is to recognize color and come together and try to fix what was damaged within, you see, because it's not the same. We don't have the same outcome. Let's see what it is. Interestingly, Russian soldiers who were captured in Ukraine were treated with more respect than black students. There are videos of them being free and looked after whilst blacks were being beat up. Yep. Now, what we have to do, the benefits of sending blackness, we have to circulate those and use those as the consistent theme that collectively black people have no friends, right? Very good thing there. If we accept that, then the idea is it motivates us to not keep on doing these kumbaya videos and constantly talking about can white people be racist. It's almost irrelevant. It's like the question is, what are we doing? Yeah. And the constant talking and is irrelevant. But also you've got United Flight of Mind. This brother here, clearly he isn't going to be any kind of black veteran, B1 or Pan-African or anything that focuses on black people coming together to find solutions. So, but he will be a part of the unsynchronized movement who create constant content that keeps the people confused when it comes to how best to actually solve this problem, see? So, yeah, very interesting. Now, family, I'm going to put the link out there again. You feel free to jump in if you want to jump in. There's no rush. There's no, you can do what you want. It is a free thing. Where are we? Now, hold on. Where's my? There it is. Voila. Feel free to jump in. Now, jump in. Now, So when it comes to selling blackness, this is something that we should be discussing at some point. Now, what is it that we need to do to make it easier for us to thrive? What products are we selling to ourselves? How do we communicate in public? How do we communicate on mediums? How do we get people synchronized? Very important question to ask. Let's add to the stream. Welcome. Pronounce your name for me. Is it Lornart? Not. Am I saying it wrong? I'm slow.
Yeah, you're saying it right. It doesn't matter.
No,
I just jumped in because I was thinking he's going to show us another video now. No one is coming up to talk. So I decided to jump in. I couldn't take it.
Yeah. That video was a lot. It was quite hard to watch. But we did. Welcome. Is this your first time on?
I think, yeah, speaking, yeah. But I've watched a few other videos.
Oh, excellent. How do I pronounce your name again? I'm just a bit, I can't see it on my screen.
What? Lonatori.
Lonatori?
Yeah.
Let me write that down big. Lonatori. Yeah, excellent. Lonatori. Frank, welcome. Well, so the question is, collectively, do Black people have friends? Do you feel, Lonatori, that Black people have friends collectively out there in the world?
I don't think Black people have any friends. Not even free enemies. We don't have anybody. We have only us and ourselves, and that's all. But if we don't get that, then we cannot even run extinct, because they don't want us to run extinct. Otherwise, there won't be white supremacy. So we'll just live to suffer forever. So I think it's very important to know that. But in like, as I'm watching these videos, like, I can't judge those kids. I don't know if they're kids. Like, if I don't know. I might be thinking like them. Like, if you ask me like 7 years ago or 5, so I can't judge how they think. Like, this whole thing has been played out. Like, everyone is speaking the same things. Like, we don't understand how deep this race issue is. It's really deep. To like really understand it, you have to sit down and calculate, because it's very hidden. It's not supposed to be even seen. So I can't judge people who can't see it, because in our mindset, like, just to understand what it is, it's just unbelievable. It's like the worst serial killer wouldn't even do this. Like, it's just beyond human understanding, like the mentality and evil of it. But to believe that a person you're passing by, or people you know every day, always knew about this thing, but it's only you who doesn't know it. And you think these people are your friends, but they're not really. They know about something. They understand the system. They understand their privileges much greater than you know them. They understand that people are starving, but they are really very aware that they have all the benefits and everything because of their skin color. But they don't tell you that. They act like we are all the same. And when you're around them, they know how to treat you. They know how to act towards you. And you can never really see it. So I think...
Carry on. Yeah, you think so? What you say?
Yeah, I think when you, like, most Black people, they are too innocent to understand the magnitude of the entire mentality of white supremacy, and the idea that regular people will pass by, understand this thing, and they manage to keep it in check, like to keep it in order. Yeah.
Well, yeah. Well, this is the thing. It's a very interesting, and you're right. I think when there's many brothers and sisters out there, when you look at their eyes, it's like they seem to believe oblivious, or maybe some of them actually might be deliberately, as in like there is a benefit in undermining progress or doing things that doesn't collate with anything that can make people progress. But for the most part, you see many kumbaya pundits. What's this? Problem is, Black people don't like themselves too much, self-hate, and they come together and do something. In the UK, we have been wasting time for 50 years. Yeah, and this is what I'm saying. The thing is, I'm around many collective groups and we talk and find solutions. And unfortunately, you get some people who jump in, and when they jump in, they might be on different levels and they might steer conversations away and this kind of stuff. And I think we have to have codified ways of behaving. They also have ways of identifying who is valuable. You see, because as you know, a smaller number can actually make decisions for a greater number. So it's about those people of equal values jumping together and actually finding solutions.
Yeah, I think like at this time in 2022, it's time to give up on Black people who are not synchronized. Because if we're going to wait for every Black person, we will never make it. Because most Black people will fight this thing, like they are the ones who we have to watch out for most. And I think it's time to start to make it clear, make a separate line. Like otherwise, we will all continue to suffer with Black people who want to stay in this system. So I think it's time to give up on such people who are in this kumbaya. And I think most Black men who are in this kumbaya, in this, I don't know, with their white wives, when you really get to start to talk to them, you can see they know the codes of the entire system. They know how to like to distance themselves from Black people when you come close to these type of Black people, but at the same time they, I don't know, they force themselves to believe that it's not as bad as they see it. So but then they stay in that thing of, I don't know, whatever it is, we shouldn't have time for it anymore. Because I mean, we are out of time. It's just too much. Like we have to start to find a way to make things work without including all Black people. Otherwise, we'll never make it.
Well, good point. What I recommend is you have a set kind of benchmark. You have a certain kind of rule set, and you know that whenever a person wants to become synchronized, this is where they're going to go to, because everyone who believes or understands the benefit of that kind of rule set goes. And that's why a few weeks back we were talking about collectively Black people have no friends. Good quote. No, we were talking about who gets to represent Black people. What should we call them? And we were talking about the concept of Black custodians, like who is the Black custodians and what do we expect from them? Because obviously the brothers we see on those videos that's making 17 million, that's their thing and that's good for them. And but they should never obviously represent Black issues. I don't think they will do it best, and also they're not synchronized. But we have to think, what is it that we value? So what I've done a few weeks back is I've made a list. This is a list that we're going to refine as a community, and we're looking at certain key blueprints, certain key things that we want people to have a value for, that might be collectively good. So we have the concept of Black love. That all these things have to be fleshed out, by the way. But we can flesh them out here, maybe, who knows. But Black love, I think, might be important. The concept of Black love. I'm interpreting Black love as constructive Black man, constructive Black woman making a constructive Black family. That's just the primal tenets.
Yeah, do you know what I noticed also as I was watching these videos? I realized I think in the next like 5 years, if you have like a Black partner, if you're Black, it will start to be like a bad thing around some Black people. Like why not in an interracial thing? I think it's soon coming to that.
Oh yes, yeah, and that's the thing. One thing we're trying to do here is the Black Love campaign, where we promote Black, constructive Black man, constructive Black woman, and the value of that. How that your wife is your first partner, and heritage stuff, and then you start a community, all that good stuff. The whole 9 yards, all that good stuff there. Black Love. Then we also move to Black economics. There you go. Black defense. What does that mean? We'll break that down. Black health. Okay, what is that? Black ownership. Something that ownership. Is that important? Maybe not. Maybe it is. Black centeredness. What does that mean? I think understanding that everything you do, you're coming from the Black. So, for example, what is it that makes your life easier? If when you hear natural makes it easier, shall we make products that allow you to do that? Things we can talk about, blah, blah, blah. Black expertise. What are we talking about? Oh, no, sorry. Black collectiveness. Collectiveness. So working as a collective, teamwork, something that we struggle with at the moment, but we're getting there. We're going to try to find templates to make that make more sense. Black expertise, the value of actually learning something, and also letting the community know what kind of skills benefit us. Do we want more doctors? Do we need programmers? Do we need app makers? Do we need people who grow fruits and that good stuff? Break it down. So we need black politeness is there. There is a value in being polite. You're going to come across many challenges, and but being polite will allow you to go through. But we can unpack that, and then obviously Black constructiveness. So that's just how many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's 10 blueprints there. I just threw them there, just things to think about. And I guess what I'm saying is, whatever these blueprints are, we're expecting the Black custodians, people who want to represent Black people publicly, to be completely synchronized with these concepts. Like, yeah, this makes sense. Unfortunately, working, like you said, working in your own best interest is a skill that many of our brothers and sisters don't have. And that's because many have been taught, the subservient value, which is not a value that comes within our community. It's our value that values someone else's community. But I don't know if we necessarily know. And every time you see brothers and sisters come together, there a lot of the things they say is really about not necessarily coming together to work as a team, but to actually just deliver your resources elsewhere and all your manpower and woman power elsewhere. And this is something we have to review, very much so. And hopefully, what we can do is find people in the community, in the internet land, the people who are most connected on these kind of issues to come together, form channels, form institutions, form things that educate and also has outreach to find more like-minded people. So the right people are connected, and we can actually come and work on solutions. Then naturally, we're going to have time wasters. They might not know they're time wasters. Hence why we ask the questions: what's your views on black love? And if they're against it, then maybe they might not be best to come to a certain level because they might be offended every single step. Because ultimately, we're trying to make the black man love the black woman. Why is that important? Because that is the primary way of producing black people. But also, holistically, we know that it isn't normal for a person to hate themselves, and self-hatred seems to be quite rife in the black community, and it's gone undiagnosed. Some people confess their self-hatred and don't know they're doing it. Don't know it because it's so naturalistic. So we want to fix that. We want to make sure that black people love black people, all over the world. And
So
we want to
basically,
go ahead.
it's like applying to join the club.
Yes.
Yeah. So there's like specific questions, specific things you have to fit in in order to join this club. Otherwise, you shouldn't be there. You're just there to waste time and energy. And it doesn't matter if you're just black. It's not like something that can get you in. You have
No.
to be fit in all these categories to
Yeah.
fit into this club.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because ultimately, what it is, there is a recognition that as small as 1 to 5% of people can change the direction of a people group. So we want to pretty much get like a power group of that kind of starting size, where those people are dedicated to fixing black issues, and they can be known or should be known as the black custodians. Let's go back on that. Black
But
custodian.
can a black custodian be kicked out as well if they are acting funny or have a state of mind?
Yes, well, this is the thing. So it's almost like there's a rule set, and if you fall short of that, you have to. Yeah, you cannot be considered. It's almost like anything in the world. If you violate the tendencies of the agreements, then you cannot be considered anymore. So it might be like, you don't want to say name and shame, but maybe priests who become sexually involved with people, whatever. That's a rule. I think that breaks some priests. They can't do that in some religions, whatever it might be, right? So then they can only be considered priests because they've done that. Same here.
Is there like an age requirement, or anyone of any age can join? Because it's more like a political party, someone could say, but it's a club at the same time. So is it for any age or?
So what one of the things that this show tries to do is it's almost like, imagine Wikipedia. You see how Wikipedia is self-sustained and it goes on for a long time, and people understand the rule set. The idea is to create certain fundamental codes where people can identify something. Now, don't get me wrong, there'll be certain situations where things can be refined and controlled and have actual structure, like this is who's in charge, this who makes decisions, and that can come from it. But in this starting point, what we're doing is we're establishing rules and regulations of what we want people who go in public and represent black people and try to find solutions for black people to uphold, so they can say, I'm a black custodian. And when they say that, it means something. So therefore, meaning, if I was to step on TV and I say I'm a vegan, everyone should know, oh, he doesn't eat meat. He doesn't eat animal products. He wants animals to be safe, and there's a way about doing it. The same with anything that comes in. If someone says they're black custodian, it's like, oh, let's go back to the next page. Oh, if that's the case, he's a black custodian, we know he's all about black love, because that's what black custodians promote. Oh, we know that it's about black economics. We know it's about black defense, black health, black ownership, black centeredness, black collectiveness, black expertise, black politeness, and black constructiveness. So that already shapes how a person. If a person goes against that, they start saying, "Well, actually, I think everyone should marry everyone and kumbaya, and there is no different rate, all this kind of stuff, right?" Then they can't be a black stone. Just like if a vegan goes, "Ah, yeah, I like eating sharks," it's like, no, you can't be a vegan, mate. You've made up something new there, and that's how we want to do it. Don't get me wrong. Once the first step is to make people understand it to the point where it doesn't need governance. But from the people who are identified as black custodians, we can have institutions that only hire black custodians and actually make it more official. I was talking about a star system before, where this is, like I said, this is work in progress, and everyone's gonna be here. But if you were to have an institution and stuff, I was thinking about like a star system where, just like in karate and kung fu, these kinds of things, you have black belts, white belts, yellow belts, green belts, this kind of stuff. We could have a star system where it's only when you become, so the first star could be a white star, second star could be a yellow star, the third star I think is a brown star, and then the last star is a black star. Of course.
Yeah, that was actually my second question. Like, can there be levels? Maybe someone is looking for a black love, they are on their way to divorce. Okay, maybe that's the worst example. But they are missing one thing.
Yeah, of course. So what we say is what we say is, okay, if someone's gonna go on TV and represent black people, we want them to be a black star, black custodian. So a black custodian of a black star level. And I actually wrote somewhere, I think, I haven't got it on my document, but I've written it here. I didn't put it in a document, but I've got it here. And what I've written is, let me see. Once again, family, this is a work in progress, and all the community are welcome to join the work in progress and iterate and really refine, because this is by the community, for the community, FUBU, for us, by us, the true FUBU. And so I've written here a white star. So in order to be a white star, openly confess to black people or the world you want to be a custodian and agree to the code of custodians. And we have to form the code of custodians, right? So this might be part of the code, this blueprint, but we're refining it. So what we're saying is, if you're a black custodian, the first thing you have to do is confess to black people or the world that you want to be a custodian, and you agree to the code of custodians that we're all going to write. All right. So that means that's the entry level. Now, of course, people can lie, but at least we have them saying they want to be there. And that's no different from when a child or an adult walks into a judo hall and they go, "I want to do judo." They give them their white belt. You see? But they've confessed they want to be a judo, but they're never going to let them represent any dojo, because they'll get beat down because they haven't demonstrated anything. So the next one up is the yellow star. And what I've written here is, you join an institution or collective idea that is actively dedicated to black betterment, or you consistently fund an institution or a collective idea that is dedicated to black betterment, right? So what that means there is, the next step, how to get a next star, is by actually consistently funding something that is dedicated to helping black people, or joining something. So rather than confessing, "Oh, I want to be a black custodian," or whatever it might be, you actually join something that is dedicated to helping black people. That action alone gets you a yellow star. Yeah. Quite easy to do, you would say, but actually not, because so many people don't do that, which is one of the challenges we face. Many people talk but don't do. So now we have a star to represent when they're doing. Waha. Now the next one up is the brown star. Within an institution or collective idea, you demonstrate great leadership or achievement. So how you get brown stars, when you're inside an institution that does something for black people, you demonstrate good merit, you demonstrate quite high achievements. So it's like, this guy is actually, not only is he joined, he's actually very, or she, I should say, very good at doing these things. Now, the black star, you have created or led within an institution or collective idea that is actively dedicated to black betterment. And there's going to be more things how to get black betterment, but I'll just put there, like, if you're actually
wait. So how many stars are there in total?
We've got four stars. So I'll go white, yellow, brown, black.
I hope the white one is the least one.
Of course. Of course, that's like white belt and all. And obviously the black belt is the highest. It's just how history.
Okay, then I get it.
Yeah, you get it. So let's go for again. You start with your white, then your yellow, then your brown, then your black. These star colors also come from, I think there was a star flag from, I think it was Mauritius. I can't remember. It was back in the 50s. They had these stars that represent all different people. But there you go. So we've got the car thing there. And that's the 4 stars. And we're trying to make everyone as possible a brown or a black star. And then we can say as people, we only want black star custodians. yeah, the Black Star levels to represent our needs, but also
to show their faces. You mean?
Say it again.
We only need black custodians to show their faces. The
Yeah.
rest on
Yeah,
other sides,
the
they
rest are
don't
in
have
training.
to
The
show
rest
their
are in
face.
training. You see, until you become a Black Star, you can't represent it, whatever. But then that's why we need to form the code of the custodians. So we have to come together and establish what is the code that custodians have to live by, and that's what we're going to be writing. And one of the starting tenets of even that's being a white by is agreeing to the code, and obviously that way, if they fall short of the code because they're hold a minute, you've gone across the code. Now, this blueprint could be part of the code, like agreeing to these 4 blueprints. Like I agree to promoting Black love, Black economics, Black defense, Black health, Black ownership, Black centeredness, Black collectiveness, Black expertise, Black politeness, and Black constructiveness. Right, that could be the starting stuff. Also, we have other things here. Something that where's my refinement? Hold on, where's my PDF? Oh, I've got so many corny videos open with this guy. Hold on. Blah 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 PDF. There we go. So let's see what else we got in there. See if there's anything that we can add to it that can help us shape ideas. We have to be high principled, meaning we want to move as far away from being error prone. But the problem we have is we have many fantastic operative brothers and sisters. But if they're error prone, meaning their behavioral pattern is error prone, then it might undermine their progress. Well, it does. So that's something that striving to be high principled is important if you're representing. Okay, what else do we have? What else do we have? Templates, nice picture there, I think that's it. All right, cool. Also, don't forget the 4D values: discipline, dedication, dignity, and discernment. That's just something that I recommend for all people. And yeah, so what we're saying, family, for those who are listening, we're trying to form what do we want Black custodians to be? How do we want to operate? How do we want the people who represent us to represent us? And how do we sell Blackness to black people? What are the benefits? The link is out there. Let me send it one more time, family, for people who want to jump in. We're joined by a new guest today, giving great insight, great info, and we hope to see them back again. There we go. Press search. Say hey, family. Hey, everyone. Hey to Dominic Smith. Yeah, so that's what it is. That's where we're at. For those who are joining late, what we've basically we've answered the question collectively: do Black people have friends? So far, everyone has said no. If everyone says yes, feel free to jump in. Maybe if someone wants to go, no, this person, blah blah blah, this group, then let us know so we can review. But what we started by looking at, unfortunately, in Ukraine, many people of African descent are being mistreated. There's even hierarchies. Let's see if we can hear that one more time. Where's that video? All right, I think it's that one. Where are you?
There's been a lot of segregation and racism from the people who've managed to actually get to the passport control. It seems like there's a hierarchy of...
Hierarchy, very important word there.
Ukrainians first.
Okay, Ukrainians first. Who's second?
Indians second.
There's a surprise. Who's last?
Africans last. So there has been Africans last. So there have Africans last. Indians second, Africans last.
Yeah, never good to hear that, but it's what it seems to be a consistent theme. Need to do something about it.
So there has been a lot of segregation.
All right. So one of the philosophies that we're trying to promote out there, just to keep people, is collectively Black people have no friends. And unfortunately, the one that causes much controversy at the moment is right now Black people are collectively inadequate. Unfortunately, that's what it seems to be. And by knowing these truths, by knowing this, regardless of it's our fault or someone else's fault, solutions will be automatically created. Why do we say this? So the idea, it comes from when a person, it might be a drug addict or an alcoholic, they go into a hall, they sit in a circle amongst people, and they say, hi, my name's Abu or Adrian or whatever, and I'm an alcoholic. And then by saying that, they admit it, and it helps motivate them to find a solution. So they're never lying to themselves. Unfortunately, many people lie to us. And when our brothers and sisters lie to ourselves, who's lying to ourselves? Maybe this gentleman here is. Let's have a sneak peek.
Can we no longer living in the era of calling human beings Black people or white people?
So this brother here, with his spare time, he's trying to make people not identify as Black or any kind of label. Once again, that shouldn't be something that brothers and sisters should be doing. Welcome, Brother Kel. Welcome, Brother Kel, to the group, to the discussion.
How you doing, Brother Rosen?
How you doing,
Fantastic.
Sister Lorna? How you doing?
Hi.
So, Brother Kel, let me go back to the thing with you. To this week, we are the topic is show 77 is where's my fantastic front page? Collectively, do black people have friends? And what are the psychological benefits of accepting the quote collectively black people have no friends? And then what are the benefits of selling blackness to black people? So there you go.
Once again, Brother Raven, very beneficial entitlement. Yeah, I would say, brother, that if we as a people understand the meaning of psychology, right? And we know that psychology comprises the mind and behavior of consciousness and unconsciousness, of feelings, thoughts, between what is natural and what is social.
You're hacking a little bit. I don't know if it's just me or.
Sorry?
I think, yeah,
like
your
stream is
audio.
I'm not heard properly. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, it's jumping just a little bit.
Okay. How's the volume now?
Yeah,
Is
just
the
talk. I think it will be fine as you continue talking, maybe.
Is the volume all right now?
Yeah, it's
yes.
fine.
Okay. So if what was that, Brother Raven? What was that?
It's about 80%. If you carry on talking, we'll let you know if you dip in and out. We'll let you know.
Okay, so if we as a people understand the word and the meaning, psychology, as it pertains to the mind, behavior of consciousness and unconsciousness, of feelings and thoughts between what is natural and what is social. And then if we apply key points, for example, in that element, you have perception, cognitive, attention, emotion, intelligence, subjective experiences, motivation, brain function, personality, and family resilience. And if we understand that and apply, how does African people make us feel, right, as it pertains to our perception, as it pertains to our cognitive thought pattern, our, subjective of it and motivation of it, then we'll come to the conclusion, Brother Raven, that that famous quote that you always say is that we do not have no friends. So we do need to tap in detail, these blueprints, for example, perception, belief, opinion. Many people have what they believe seems to be, and there's a perception how we are perceived globally by non-African people, that we should be in a certain subservient behavior. So if I want that perception, and there are those who are trying to tell me that I should be in there, that tells me I don't have no friends. If we analyze cognitive, a conscious thought of reasoning as it pertains to my purpose in life, and non-African people are opposing to that, it tells me I'm gonna have no friends. Likewise, the subjective experiences, that they believe non-African people as it pertains to how they feel, rather than the facts that we are original people, and we, ruled the earth with knowledge and justice and equality. If they don't believe in that, and they make us feel out of place, that then once again we have no friends. Motivation again, Raven, do non-African people motivate us to better ourselves sincerely? The answer is no. So we have to understand psychology, and we'll be able to match up. Do we have friends? Do we not?
Right, we got that. So so the conclusion there is no. And I guess what we're thinking is I think before you jumped in, we were actually talking about refinement as well, as in like we understand that not all brothers and sisters are going to get this at a certain point, but maybe they're not meant to, and maybe that we have to have reserved kind of like channels and talking stuff just for people who agree to certain tendencies, just so we can help refine how best to create scenarios where we're behaving in ways that's in our best interest. So we started talking about the Black Bourbon Blueprint, and we were talking about people have to agree with there's these 10 tendencies here, these 10 blueprints here, but we can refine these and expand these, whatever. But generally, just black love, black economics, black defense, black health, black ownership, black centeredness, black collectiveness, black expertise, black politeness, and black constructiveness. Oh yeah, constructiveness. Look at Asian community. Their best friend is themselves. Of course, it makes sense. So yeah, so that's where we're at, brother. And we were, I think, before you jumped in, we were talking about a star system. We're talking about we're going to try to form black custodians, but uh, imagine black custodians, the people who we call black custodians, even though they become one through their confession and upholding what we're going to form as the code of custodians. There's still a star system, like a belt system, where we're saying that there's a white star, a yellow star, a brown star, and a black star. I think we talked about it last time you were here, I can't remember. And essentially, we want all the people to represent black people to have achieved black star status. Or maybe we don't. We have to discuss that as a group. By all means, guys, jump in if you wish to discuss the concept of who represents black people and sells blackness to, who does that on a public scale, and what do they have to do to help. Your volume isn't correct. Your voice is breaking up. Oh yeah. So that was Brother Kel, I believe. I think your mic was jumping in and out just for bits, so some people might have to try to work it out. But hopefully that will get fixed. But I'm talking now, so hopefully my mic is working good. I hope so.
Yeah,
Thumbs up, you can hear me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, good. Because sometimes when we start saying some good stuff, we never know who's listening to maybe start throw things off. You never know. You never know. But so we're saying, so just to break down for those who don't know who are new, we're saying that we have a 4-star system. We're going to, next week, I'll draw this up as a symbol so you can see it. I'll design it up for you guys. White star. What is a white star black custodian? That's someone who openly confesses to black people or the world. You want to be a custodian and you agree to the code of custodians. That code is what we're going to have to form as the weeks go by. That's the starting point. That's your white belt or white star. Your yellow star is you've joined an institution, a collective idea that is actively dedicated to black betterment. Or
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So before you start any of those stars, does it mean like there are certain things you still must have before you can gain even the first one?
Yes.
Or for example, like I'm thinking of, like we've already established the love part, that you must have black love to get any of these stars. Now I'm thinking of the economics, because it's a big part of the entire thing. Basically, it's a part of each and every one of them. So does that mean, because in most clubs and in most groups, depending on how much you make, that's what accepts you in the group. And for example, in most African groups, it's really about how many PhDs and stuff you have. So does that apply for any of these cards, or can anyone who's a janitor with this mindset get into this, or can a PhD person who is questionable?
I'll say yes, and here's the yes. Here's why the yes. So one of the controversial things I was saying before is I was talking about the lifestyle of black betterment, and then when a person becomes a black betterer, as in someone who's dedicated to helping black people, they become the elite amongst black people, in the sense of the elite in people trying to help black people, right? And people use the term elitism as someone can only be it because they're born into wealth, or they're born into power, or they're born into education. What we're saying is the power of choice is very important. Why do we say choice is important? Because so many black people choose not to do anything, but everyone can if they so chose. So what we're saying is all this stuff is choice based. It isn't down to, you're rich or you're that. It's choice based. But don't get me wrong, being rich is a benefit and how you use it. However, it is a choice based system. So when we say a white star openly confess, that confession means openly confess, and you want to be a custodian, and you agree to the code of custodian. So that code of custodian can say that if you're a person and you get married and you find a wife or a husband, luckily, they have to be within the community, right? Also, you're striving to start black economics. You promote buying stuff from black brands, blah blah blah, that kind of stuff, right? So this is something that all can do, but you don't necessarily have to be a trillionaire. However, the yellow star says you've joined an institution or collective idea, or you consistently fund institution or collective ideas that's dedicated to black betterment, right? Um, Here's what it is: you could be a donor to someone, right, and that's amazing, uh, but you still live in a way that doesn't work in black people's best interest. So for you to represent black people is a no-no. Just like a person who it's like, imagine there's a guy, he owns a butchery farm or whatever, right? A butcher who's a millionaire, and he for some reason he funds vegan, you know, stuff. But it's like he wouldn't be the best person to represent vegans because his job is the opposite of veganism. Same with the people who become custodians. If their life is the opposite of the blueprints we've put, then they would have failed already by saying they agree to the code, because the code will have things listed out. So yes, so to answer your question, that people can confess they want to be a custodian, and they can be a white belt once they agree to the code of custodians. If they fall short of that, then they can't be a custodian. If they try to do it, that means they go from a white belt to not being in it at all. And then they have to do some kind of, like, I don't know, repentance or retraining in a couple of whatever, I don't know. But that's something for us to refine and define in this time. You see, that's what's good about community work.
They have to do an atonement for their sins to become black again.
Yeah, this is actually, I'm saying that there has to be something where it's like, okay, I recognize I've done something that works against black people. Because here's the issue. Because you might be new to this, but let me break this down. So usually what I do is hold on, where's that finger? Is this one? Hold on, there we go. Voila, Black Love Campaign, amazing. What's this? Oh, so we got things there. And also I was refining how we define things. So this is contemporary love. This is the new age love. We're about traditional love, the love that was more traditional. But anyway, let's go to Unity Spend. Something's very good there. We'll come back to that. What's this? Black Protect Rep. That makes sense. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, see that? Fellowship. That's nice. Okay. No. Oh, okay. No, there we go. So this is the England politicians, right? Now, the thing is, none of them confess that they want to help black people anyway, so we can't really hold them to anything. But what we notice is there's a pattern perception that I've observed, and that is every single black
representative,
has all got a white wife or a white ex-wife and current white wife. So obviously, dedication to white women is very important to I don't know if someone is setting it up, or maybe it's a psychological thing, or maybe you can't get in the club if you don't do that, or maybe black people just love white women. I don't know. But what I'm saying is, in order to represent black custodian, this would disqualify you. We have to see things as holistic, and we have to understand black women have gone through a lot, and black men as well, but have gone through a lot. So clearly, if you're going to be representing black people, a nice, beautiful black woman, when you choose, if you get married, if you're lucky enough to find a woman, should be your option. Let's go back to benchmark rebranding. Yeah, we don't want any benchmark rebranding. We have a benchmark and we go towards it. We don't change the benchmark. And I think that's one of the problems black people have done for so many years, constantly changing where we're trying to get, making it easier, lowering the mark. As long as you turn up, as long as you're smiling, it's okay. I think this blueprint here is very important. Black centeredness, essentially black centric, is definitely something that is important.
I've got another question.
Go ahead.
Okay, like there's one group that's very famous. Is the Black Panthers.
Yeah.
That started in America. It was one of the most successful ones.
It was.
Then there is like Louis Farrakhan, Nation of Islam.
Yes.
But in all these groups, like the Black Panthers, if you look at it, okay, it's been painted to look like a military operation, something like violent and protest and stuff like that. That's how it's been painted. And they wear black and all those things. And with this Louis Farrakhan, it works as well, but it's based on religion. So would you say black betterment is based on economics? So it has nothing to do with protesting and fighting your way through. It's more about economics. It's not about singing, making shows and celebrities and all those things.
So let me break it down to make it easy as possible, right? And this is very because you're new here. So basically, let me break down Black Betterment, and I'll break down the two divisions of Black Betterment, and then we'll break down Black Custodians. So Black Betterment is Black people helping Black people on Black issues for betterment, and we define that as a lifestyle. So the analogy we can look for is the veganism is a lifestyle, right? A choice you have to make. Black betterment is a lifestyle. So the gift to the world, what this is trying to make people consciously be aware of how to help Black people. So in every area of activity, you're trying to help Black people in the area. That's the lifestyle, right? So that could manifest in many different ways. That could manifest in you making Black music. That could manifest in you protesting. That could manifest in you trying to own a hair shop and hire Black people, right? You're constantly trying to build with Black people, and that's your lifestyle. Like you're trying to think in every area of people activity. How can I build with Black people? That's your lifestyle. Now, the Black Custodian. Oh no, let me break that down. Sorry. Now, let me get to where's the next page. Now, in order to make it easier for people to practice lifestyle, we devise it into two halves. The two halves are the Black Betterers and the Black Betterment Builders. Now, what are the two difference? Here's the two difference. The Black Betterers, in everything they do, they are trying to help Black people. It's a complete lifestyle, and that's what they do, right? They're consistent in that way. The Black Betterment Builders, this is more so a way of allowing people to help Black people and have a kind of title, but they're not intense and hardcore. What do I mean by that? So, for example, the Black Betterer will get married to a Black person, will try to hire people, this kind of stuff. The Black Betterment Builder only has to do one thing to get the title that they're a Black Betterment Builder, meaning that one thing could be they make a school that trains Black boys and girls how to program JavaScript, and because they want Black people to be excellent at JavaScript, and they spend all their money and time doing that. So in that field, they could be a Black Betterment Builder, but in life, they have no other interest of synchronizing with Black Betterers. They're just doing that, and it's something that they do. And it's a way how we can allow people who might not be that dedicated to anything to have one thing they do that is dedicated to Black people, and we recognize that. They're called the builders, right, in one area, right, but they're not bearers. So that's the two of the lifestyle of Black Betterment. That's the two breakdowns, yeah? So, for example, and this is going to sound shocking. It's going to sound very shocking, I know. But, for example, let's go. We could have any one of these politicians married to a white woman or whoever, right? And not do anything else and stay the way they live in. But they decide at one point in their life, you know what? I'm going to do one special, remarkable thing just for Black people. And in that area, we can say, in that, whatever you do, you're a builder in that area, and well done, brother. And the reason we do that is because it isn't appealing at the moment for Black people to do anything for Black people. So we set up the vision so that you can still be a contributor in some way, but we recognize you're not deep into this thing, right? And
okay, I got a question. Since you said it was going to be controversial, what if one of these Black men's wives or grandmother says they're going to build something for Black people? Does that person get their Black card and become a Black betterment builder?
Say again about the grandmas. What about the grandmas?
I say, like, because you said if one of these Black men married to their white wives wants to build something, they become a Black better builder, betterment builder. What if their white wife or their white grandmother wants to build something for Black people? Does that person also become a Black betterment builder? Like
good question. Good, beautiful question, and that's why we have the starting tenants. So let's see what.
Wait. For example, like how Kim Kardashian is trying to help Black men out of prison.
Oh, is that okay? Good for her. But here's the rule set. So, shall we read this together, everyone? What is Black betterment? Black people helping Black people on Black issues for betterment. Now, is that white grandma a Black person? Are they?
No.
Then it doesn't count. Then all that means is a white woman is doing something for a Black person. It will not be considered Black betterment because she cannot qualify, because Black betterment is a lifestyle teaching black people to help black people. And if you take out any black person from that equation or interject any non-black person, it no longer becomes a black Burman activity. Does that make sense? So, for example, if me and my friend decide we're going to start a company and we're going to sell cards, that's black Burman. If we now hire 2 European people to join us, it's just a business. We can't promote as black Burman. It's just a business. It's probably a good business, but we can't go publicly. We've got a black business. No, we've got a mixed business, right? So it's okay.
Wait. So you mean like if you have to call your business a black betterment business, it has to be hiring black people?
Yes. So
what if you're in a situation where you can't find a black person qualified in a certain area?
That's different. That's different. So what we say is whenever it's constructively possible. So the idea is what we're trying to train people, because some people, what they do is when they start an idea, they start with the excuse. So they go, oh, I can't find someone. We're saying make an attempt. Make an attempt. And then if you can't, then you hire a contractor to have that run until you do, or whatever it might be, right? That's what we're saying. In that aspect, sure. But what we can't, have you ever seen those TV shows or things where they'll say something is for black people or about black people, and then when you look at the show, it's like it's literally 20% black people, everyone else white. I think in the what's that thing, the NSPC or whatever in America or something like that, that's how it started, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. And only W.E.B. Du Bois was the black member, and everyone else was either Jewish or European, and I guess they're both the same to some people, whatever. But so that would not, even though that's allegedly doing nice things for black people, well done. That would not be a black betterment organization. What brother Marcus Garvey did would be considered a black betterment organization, because all black people have black issues. That form of Garveyism, Pan-Africanism, would be automatically a black betterment concept. It is the original blueprint. Where are we? So where were we? Sorry, what was I now? What were we saying? Yeah, so let me go back there. So that's the 2 different divisions of the lifestyle. So one is for the more intense person, and one is for the entry level, put their feet in the shallow end. I want to do something, It's more so to allow all brothers and sisters the opportunity to do something to help black people without them having to be very intense, because it can be quite hard to be that, especially people who live in this life who've been fed kumbayism every single day since the day of their birth. So they might struggle. So this is a way to have them have an entry-level stuff, and we have to credit them for that. Also, one of the problems and solutions that I'm trying to think of is there are many exceptionally wealthy black people who could actually do a tremendous amount of things for black people. However, because they grow up in system, whatever, they're going to have so many unsynchronized ways that doesn't really work best for promotional purposes. So those millionaires can actually use their money to fund something or do something consistently, and we can say, in that area, you're a black brand builder. Well done, brother, because you funded a dedicated black thing. Voila. Now, that's the lifestyle of black betterment. Now we're discussing a new concept, and anyone can do this at any time. I am a black betterer. That's what I do. So anyone can do it at any time, as long as you uphold those principles. Now, the next thing we're talking about was noticing there was a challenge, and challenge is who should be representing black people. We noticed that, unfortunately, when we watch TV shows around the world, you get pop stars and musicians who are not necessarily politically trained or whatever represent black issues, or maybe they've actually been co-opted by people who don't have black people's interests at heart. Blah blah blah. So we think, okay, well, what can we do as a community to actually form our own choices of who we want to represent us? Hence, the black custodians came. What does custodians mean? A person who is responsible for taking care or protecting something. So, automatically, all custodians have to be black betterers. That's just the starting line. So when we talk about codes and stuff, we already got that starting code that you have to be a black bearer, meaning a black person helping black people whenever it's constructively possible in all areas of people activity, right? Now, once we establish that, then we go into the I haven't written it down there, so the star system, right? As in how you progress in Like, so we can know there's different levels that people achieve by being a custodian, and we can say we only want a certain star level to represent black people because we know they've tested it. Unfortunately, there are many brothers and sisters in the community who because they speak really well, they might be given a platform and they elevate quite far, and when they get to the top they kind of change their whole thing and they become they do other stuff. They start.
Oh, I got another question.
Go ahead.
So, if you are a custodian,
Yep.
does that mean you get benefits like money and stuff like that? Because in many black organizations, even the pastor gets a lot of money. Like it's like they get paid. If you're a politician, you get paid. If you say a word, you get paid. So, does that mean a black veteran custodian gets paid, or is not a fine? Is it what do you call it? Do they do it for free or?
Yeah. So right now it's like asking, do karate people get paid? If they become an expert, they might, right? Because the activity that they engage in, where they're promoting black people, might be a paid activity. So whether it's public speaking, or like for example, a black custodian could start an own institution, right? So he's a custodian in that. He's the high ranking person in that, and obviously that institution could actually make money. So that person is responsible for the thing. Now there could be community paid incentives, but right now there is no rule set to actually say there is a fund for this. This is all self doing stuff with rules. And when a person achieves it, we know it because they've upheld these tendencies and they're given it this kind of title by either elders or people in the community that recognize the work and go, this is the man or woman we want to represent us in these areas, whatever, right? So right now there is no pay except for the one they get themselves or fundraising things that might happen. So it's not like a priest or something like that. It's not like a priest or a church priest or whatever you call it. But in the refinement, maybe, like I said, right now, imagine everything I'm saying here is like a Wikipedia where it's like it really is community done. And because it's so heavily refined, it should be self-catering, meaning that if someone was to step out openly, we're all looking like, okay, that he's now failed, isn't it? It's almost like imagine a nun going on TV and then she strips off all her clothes. We go, she's not a nun. Okay, or she's gone mad. And then already the default is this woman cannot be a nun. So, whatever it might be, right? So it's like the rule sets, the code has to dictate. And everyone understanding the code and the consistency of the code will let us know who it is, right? So this is the starting point. However, there might be refinements. So, for example, the Jewish community have their own defense league, whatever it's called, where there's the community pay and they make a lot of money, 80 million a year, where they pay a collective of individuals to go to certain public places and make sure that Jews are being mistreated and things are doing correctly for Jewish people.
We cannot compare to any group because all these groups, Jewish, whatever they are, they don't have anyone on their back to, even though they are trying to make themselves appear oppressed, but it's not like that. No one is focused on them trying to break them down.
Yeah. So what? And that's a good point you raised there, because the reason one of the motivations for this Wikipedia way of working is looking at black people's music, right? And you realize that, whether it's Candy, the song, or some Nigerian Afrobeat song, whatever it might be, or some reggae or bashment song, there seems to be a way where when this music comes on, everyone knows the lyrics, everyone knows the dance moves, and they know how to do it correctly, and they know the history of it, stuff like that. Well, imagine that same concept when it comes to operating in black people's best interests. Like we promote in a certain way, we're doing a certain thing. There's codes, there's rules, there's PDFs, there's online stuff where we can really synchronize everyone, and we can straight away know who is or who isn't. Is the seed money to be collected from ADOS? I don't know. I'm not sure what that means. Is the seed money to be collected from ADOS? Not sure what that means. That might be an American thing with ADOS, American descendants of slaves. But yeah. So what I was saying. So that generally. I forgot what I was saying there, but I'm sure it was important. Yeah. Any other questions? Anyone want to jump in by way in the family? In the go ahead.
My thing, Brother Raven, right? That slogan, "Black people have no friends." It's very, very illuminating. But I do believe, brother, it needs to be applied to these key points, like you've beautifully written down, like the black love, and on the side of it, or put like an equation symbol. You know, how do we have, black people no friends when it comes to love, and that will help us to understand, and then it should be broken down why we don't have any friends.
Yeah,
right. Economic, etc. That makes any sense.
Makes perfect sense. So just so you know, imagine, let's call these blueprints, let's call them, there's a word now for A1. Let's call it A1. And what that means is, A1 means the title, or maybe H1. That's more of a programming thing. Let's say H1. H1 is the title, right? Now, H2 is the defining of the title, meaning like, so once let's pretend that this is actually a PDF program on the website. When you click on H1, the black love, it expands, all these go down and it opens, and then H2 of the black love section will go constructive man, constructive a black woman makes constructive black family, and I made a few more blurbs, right? Then, if you really want to refine, we click on it, and H3 is like a massive description of the value of black love and how it connects to black economics and the history of why blah blah blah. Do you know what I'm saying? So face value, we've got 10 blueprints. So people go, okay, black love, but each one will have, like, it's almost like, imagine a book or a Bible where you have the 10 things, but you can actually open them and really expand on them on 3 different ways. So titlement, short paragraph, epic. Title,
the reason I said that for is I caught a bit of the show, and you said psychologically we don't have no friends.
Yes.
There's a lot of African descendants in the room, and unfortunately, as we know, brother, unsynchronized Africans should never be speaking on racism because they need to understand political science. So what I was referring to, brother, is that there needs to be something emphasized with detail that we have no friends psychologically, because we don't seem to understand that. We seem to be very diplomatic and still having that way of, well, I can't leave non-African people out because they gave me this job, or they're married to one of my relatives, or they helped me this football team, this netball team. The point is, brother, that we need to emphasize we don't have no friends with these key points to show us. So one side, as I said, the black love, and explain, how do we have friends? Because it needs to be emphasized. I remember, like I said before, Brother Raven, this should be aimed at the youth from 5 up until 30. Because unfortunately, brother, people who are my age group, and upwards, 40s, 50s, even the 30s, should I say, brother, it's a wrap for them. They're not getting it. And we put too much effort in them, whereas we've got these amazing young minds, right? And they're like sponges. And if we was to, give them, which gives life water, and then they can squeeze that knowledge, man, and pass it down, that we have no friends. It'd be more effective than the 30s, the 40s, the 50s. If that makes any sense.
Right. So now that us 3 here, and also the brothers and sisters in the group, you can jump in. Let me put the link there, because we're going to refine this now. Here's the question I'm going to ask everyone, right? All these 10 blue... Oh, where's my thing gone? Wow, there you go. All these 10 blueprints here, obviously, we can click and refine them, as in, so we can break down which one it is. Do you reckon I should put collectively black people have no friends part of the black collectiveness here, as in the refinement of the collectiveness here, or do you reckon that this is the black blueprints, but we should have also a black statement that is made, and the 2 big statements that I would recommend is, it's almost like the thing open with is, collectively black people have no friends, and collectively black people are inadequate. These 2 things, might be the statements that when you come into a custodian or whatever, you see. So the starting the quotation is, collectively black people have no friends, and black people are collectively inadequate. And before these 2 reasons why we need custodians, you see? So that could be your starting thing, like, here's why we need custodians. and maybe we even start with the history of racism, blah, blah, that kind of stuff. But generally, the statement is there are two statements. So you have two statements, 10 blueprints, and then what else do we have? I can't remember. Is there anything else? I can't remember. Being high principled or whatever, but and also being a black betterer. So you have to be a black betterer. You have to agree to this, to the black people are collectively inadequate and black people have no friends, and then obviously agree to the 10 blueprints here. What does that make sense, brother? As in statement, blueprint, and lifestyle, blueprint, and statement.
Yeah.
Question from Stanley: are unsynchronized black people black? Yes, they are black. Black people are not monolithic. They are monolithic. I can't remember, but generally, what we are dealing with black people who are doing things, or I should say, black people who's made a choice. So black people who made a choice is what we're dealing with. If they haven't made a choice, they're only going to benefit from the works we do, but they're not going to be making choices a part of it.
I think in the beginning we had talked about how we are not going to give time and energy to unsynchronized black people.
Yes.
Basically, we're just going to move on and go forward with people who are synchronized.
Yes.
And otherwise, we will never make any progress if we are trying to get every black person to move forward with us.
Definitely not.
So,
I agree.
That's from a marketing standpoint, what will happen is when you start actually drawing lines in the sand, it will make certain black people realize they have to make a choice, and then it'll make them know that if they step into this domain, they have to be qualified. They have to be qualified, and just the whole just black gets you in doesn't work. Don't get me wrong, there is going to be certain things where just being black you can come to the barbecue, whatever, right? But like I said, if you're choosing to want to be a custodian, or a black betterer, there's certain things you have to do, right? So, once you get to a certain kind of forum or something, we're not going to entertain any kind of kumbayarism kind of flex because we're here doing certain kind of work. Can black people who choose differently be black? Can people?
No, his friend asked, can white people be black betterers? That's what he's...
No. So black people helping black people. So the idea of the lifestyle is because black people are collectively inadequate and are dedicated to kumbayasm in so many forms. There is a lifestyle that automatically determines an outcome. So because black people are not good at being teamwork and looking at our own best interest, the solution I'm pushing forward is a lifestyle. The analogy comes from looking at veganism, where we understand that if you eat a shark, you're no longer a vegan. You see? So if a white person cannot be a black bearer because they don't qualify, and if a black person does something that isn't within the lifestyle, then that activity is not a black bearing activity.
So, Brother Raven, Brother Raven, could we say, brother, if there is an African descendant living in the area where there's intensifying racism,
yes,
that individual seems to, he's living comfortably, but at the same time, around him collectively is people are suffering racism, as him sometimes due to the paradigm. Can we say that that individual believes that black people has friends, even though the reality that his environment that they have no friends? Could we say that for that individual?
Say that again, because I kind of missed that.
For example, if an individual is in an area where there's racism,
yes,
right, but the individual believes, right, that non-African people are friends, even though they are using racism, we could say that individual seems to be having imbalance to believe that we are friends, right?
Right.
Okay. So individual is inadequate to realize that collectively we have no friends, even though he's in an environment where there's racism on him and his people, right?
Yeah, I mean, we said that we're going to start with this statement. Collectively, black people have no friends, and collectively, black people are inadequate. So, if he's trying to demonstrate that black people collectively have friends, that goes against black betterment, because the real focus of black betterment is to go right past that statement and work on black people. You see, so you
Okay.
hear it. Yeah, so once they start, if a person is now talking consistently about collectively black people have friends, that is a tremendous waste of time. That is, it's almost like a vegan person trying to explain a kind way to kill a duck. It's like it's a waste of time in a vegan forum. Like, what, we don't need any kind way to kill a duck. It's like we don't kill ducks in the vegan forum. You know what I mean? It's just this is that kind of thing. It's like there is no value in talking about why non-black people are good. There is absolutely that kind of kumbayaism is a non-black betterment
Talk.
activity.
Should we do like a list of things we don't talk about and we don't waste time on? Things like questions or topics like, can a white person join black betterment? Can such type of questions? I think, like, if you hear we don't say anything about it, have a
Well,
list of, because I
well,
see them popping
yeah.
up in the chat.
Good point. What we do is obviously I'll be making PDFs. So if we are in some kind of forum, or maybe we put it there, you get what I tend to do when I start like WhatsApp and Facebook and this kind of forums, whatever. I make a PDF of all the rule set, and in there it's like it tells you what you have to do and this kind of stuff. So once they're in anything we're doing, they have to know because they've read that kind of intro pack or whatever. But yeah, one thing is by clearly defining something. Like when you asked me a question, I went back and I showed you this. So you asked me, what if a grandma or white woman was giving lots of money to black men for some reason? And I said, well, let's break that down for the lifestyle, right? The lifestyle is black people helping black people on black issues for betterment. That's just the quick statement there, right? In that statement, all those answers are now being squashed, isn't it? Because if they go, oh, what if my white grandma wants to, and they go, well, hold on, is she a black person? Then no. You see? What if that black person is helping Asian people? That has nothing to do with black betterment. Now, here's what it is, right? We live in a world where we're going to go to a shop and buy some food. We're going to give money to a homeless man. We're going to do this kind of stuff, right? That activity is just you doing what you're doing. But the idea is you are dedicating time to do dedicated black betterment work. You see? So obviously the average human can't live in isolation for the world. You have to go and exist, but you have to be actively doing things that benefit black people. And when you do that, that is the activity known as black betterment, and you're striving to do that. You're striving to do as many of those as possible. And two black betterers should have a conversation easy, like, bro, I've got this idea to make a card game, and I need people from Africa to design it, and I need a guy who I can help you out that, blah, 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 right? You know.
Yeah, I have one other question. If we go back to the 10 statements about black love, black economics, that part.
Yes.
I'm wondering, because last time we were talking about black image, I wonder where does that fit in?
Black image, black centeredness is the way it comes in.
Aha.
You see, what black centeredness means is everything we're doing is centered from a African, a Afro, a black paradigm. So, you know, for example, let's just say we make a comic book. I don't know if you make comic books, and then obviously it's like, okay, well, why don't we, rather than use basing things on Thor or whoever, we could base it on African deities or Ogun or these kind of things like that, or Voodoo or whatever it might be, right? So and obviously the characters are black, blah blah blah. So it's that you know, in the things you do, you I mean, this is like a natural thing for people, but unfortunately for many black people, it isn't. So you have to define it, and that is being black centered in the products you do, whenever it's constructively possible. Some people might want to do refreshers and they want to rebrand other people's ideas in a black way. They blackify things, so be it, whatever. But generally, it's black centered.
Okay, I get you. Maybe we can answer more of your questions because you had 3 questions today we were supposed to talk about.
So, yes, let's go back. Okay.
Check that one out.
So here's the 3 questions. I think we've answered them, but we can go. Collectively, do black people have friends? People in the forum, yes or no? Collectively, do black people have friends? Let's see what the people in the forum think. And then what are the psychological benefits of acting accepting the quote, collectively black people have no friends? Anyone want to answer that? What is, I think Kel did answer it, but we can answer it again. What is the benefits of accepting that quote, which we're now going to have as a statement that people have to read through to be a black betterer, not black betterer, to be a black custodian? Anyone want to answer that question for the people at home? What is the psychological benefits?
Accepting that quote will make you adequate immediately. It's like yeah.
So this is like accept this and you're through.
It's like motivation.
It's kind of like okay, I get it. It's kind of like how the Muslims have, you accept two things, like the oneness of God and Muhammad being the seal. It's kind of like that. Once you that you're Muslim, right? It's like you get straight into it. Okay. All right, and then the last question is, what are the benefits of sending blackness to black people? So that is a black-centered question, fine enough. What are the benefits?
The benefits of sending blackness to black people is to keep black people in charge in a business way in all things.
So when we go, so that's black ownership. You see, that's within the code of black ownership. Is there black people owning things? I don't know, maybe.
The black family relationship, that's business again. Keeping black people in charge of the relationship as it pertains to black love, that's business again. If white supremacy is a business, Brother Raven, then the black betterment needs to be a business. Keeping black people in a great position should be looked at as a business.
Well, what I'm saying is, with Lonatori, what I'm saying is, you seem to be a person who seems to be somewhat synchronized in many things you're doing, and your ideas seem to be very splendid as well. So, at least on this panel now, Raven, Lonatori, and Kel seem to be synchronized. This is good. This is where it's like, okay, there is a build that can happen here. So us keeping in contact within this platform and your other platforms that you have any is important. Yeah, and obviously other more like-minded people who think the same way, because this is how we build, right? By having people who think the same way moving forward, right? And it'll be us who'll be refining the custodians. So, and obviously, and the other people who are more synchronized to refine it. And this is a good thing. So great progress was made this week, family. We're probably going to end the show now, unless someone wants to jump in for the final extended minutes. I must be kind. Let me just push copy and paste. Not be a sloppy waste. Copy and paste.
Raven, is it possible for next week, brother, to continue this on a deeper psychological level? Because it definitely needs to be unpacked. Because it's very, you brought some deep science to this thing here, and it needs to even go even deeper.
Yes.
Because when I saw psychological, that we don't have any friends, well, as a whole, and that it needs to be unpacked a bit more, man. I believe show 2 with this topic needs to come back next week, man.
All right. So what we could do is do a part 2 of collectively, do black people have friends, and what are the psycho benefits of accepting the quote? And what I'll do, maybe if I get time, I'll try to reform a design every week. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to start with the 2 statements on the screen and say, black custodians, start with this statement. So it's almost like when every black custodian comes to the dojo, it's like it's like here's the motivation and statements that's going to keep us synchronized, right, on track. Boom. Then the next thing they see is the black blueprint. These things we accept, and then after that, we can have more of a code of the custodians, like more of a code that really says do this, do that, don't do it, whatever it might be, right? So the blueprint is things we accept that we're going to try to do, and then the code is the way it's done. All right, and that's something that's going to take long to refine and that kind of stuff. But yeah, family, I'm very pleased when I meet synchronized black people who seem to want to help black people. You'll be surprised how many black people don't. We actually showed you some videos earlier. For those who don't know, this is what it looks like when you don't want to help black people. Hold on.
These labels that will forever blind us from seeing a person for who they are.
Yeah, you're shrouded in kumbaya.
I think you should show them hugging when the black guy was hugging the white guy. The end result.
Was at the end somewhere? That one. Yeah. Look at that. This first place.
The magnificent butterfly. Well, these labels are our shells, and we must do the same thing so we can finally spread
There you go. That's what they want you to see. You see, that's the whole kumbayism there, you know. And once again, family, just to help you, let me jump back onto the thingamajig. Just that's the way we can label things. Very important how we mention things because people will get you in a loop when it comes to love and this kind of stuff. What we are promoting is what we are known as traditional kindness and love. So this is contemporary kindness, you know, holding hands, singing, we're overcome, you know, all together, finding, you know, being a prince of Africa, but yet find a European wife. Something that doesn't happen in Europe, but happens in Africa for some reason. I'm sure there's a reason for that. But what we can do is go we're until we a solution is final of this big problem that black people are going through. We are practicing traditional love and traditional kindness, which is a self-helping stuff, and we shall market the fantastic pictures of black people smiling, hugging, and all that good stuff. You know, make it nice, blah blah blah, all that good stuff. There you go. England is the white man's country. That's the fact. That's right. That's why we have to come together. Is there someone else? Sorry, let's make sure I'm missing anyone else. Hold on. Nope, I'm fine. Yeah. So anyway, so after Kel's request, we're gonna have a part 2 of this. So please tell your friends, tell a friend to be a friend, and come back if you can. Try to get as many constructive black people to jump on. The idea is to be very infectious and spread out the concept of black empowerment, so we can teach black people to be dedicated to help on our issues and form movements and ideas and lifestyles and heavily refine it, so we don't have the underbelly, the error-prone people representing black people. Want to reverse that, and let's be solution-based. Let's actually try to be part of the change that black people need. So all these shortcomings we see consistently, we no longer see. Wouldn't that be good? Wouldn't that be good? But guys, would you like to have your last word before we end the show?
Yeah, I just want to say that we have to, train up the black custodians in all fields that runs the world, whether it be economics, whether it be marriage coaching, whatever it may be. We need these black custodians in all the fields, man. Great show with Raven. Looking forward to it next week.
Yeah, I think the more we talk about it, the more clear the code will be in our heads and in everyone's heads. So more discussion is good.
Yes, iteration and refinement. Iteration and refinement is what we'll be doing. I might write that up. So what we'll be doing as a community, we'll be discussing things we want. We'll be iterating it and refining it and getting it clear. And then as the weeks go by, as has happened before, we will define it and we'll have solid templates of what we're trying to achieve. And then we shall spread it out to the community. And those who want to synchronize, they may. And those who want to practice kumbayism can carry on to the heart's content. Thank you, everyone. Next week, we'll have a part 2. Please tell your friend, tell a friend to be a friend. Practice black empowerment and let us try to progress. Be constructive. Thank you very much. The end. Press the red button to end the show. There you go.